Anybody that will build a tower must first sit down and count the cost. And it's not easy, truly. That sitting down activity, it's not easy, but it's important. Because you can't launch a rocket into space and then the astronaut is saying, Jesus, we forgot to put fuel in the rocket. And he's now saying, can we come out? It's not possible. The planning has to be done if we are going to be those high performers that God has created us to be. I remember when I ran the 2020 Lagos City Marathon, the one thing that was on my mind then was, Kayode, this is not something that you are just going to wing it, that when the time comes, you think you will just instinctively know what to do, that you will improvise and just do your thing. This time, you are going to have to sit down and prepare way ahead of time. So I told myself, okay, you know what, 6 months to the date, which was February 2020, come August 1st, 2019, I'm going to start training and preparing for the marathon. And that's just the thing about high performers, that if we are going to be those high performers that God has created us to be, we need to take planning and early preparation very, very seriously. It's called the law of time perspective. And that law simply states that the most successful organizations and nations are the ones who take the longest time period into consideration when making their day-to-day decisions. Now, what that simply means is that they plan and prepare, and they plan and prepare long term and prepare early. Because most of the time, what happens is that we always have this wing it approach to our goals. You know, when the time comes, I will instinctively know what to do. I like to be spontaneous. I'm a free spirit. I don't like anything caging me and regulating my movements and all that. But one thing I always tell people is that having a plan is not to cage you. A plan is a guardrail to guide you. And if you truly want to be a free spirit, then that's why you need a plan. Because when you have a plan, you already have things scheduled and mapped out. So your brain is now free to be creative, to explore other things that might come on the fly. So that's why planning, long-term planning, early preparation is just so important if we are going to be those high performers that God has created us to be. Because right now, I know the reason that you are watching this video is because deep down, you know that you are capable of more. You know you are capable of being more, giving more, doing more, having more. That's why you are here. It's not that you haven't achieved things in the past, but you are looking forward to going to the next level. Now, one thing I can assure you is that planning is very, very important. If you have been doing short-term plans, 1-month plans, you are good in planning for the short term, this might be the time to now start taking a long range and looking at how you can plan a whole year, because now you are looking for the next level. Let me try and break it down. What amount of planning and preparation will you need? You are right there at home. You are listening to me now. Awesome. Thumbs up for that. Then the idea just gets into your head. It would be nice to have a bowl of ice cream right now. And the ice cream place is just maybe 3 minutes walk away from your house. How much preparation do you need to leave your house and get to the ice cream place to get that bowl of ice cream? Not much, right? You probably just throw your flip-flops on, pick up your wallet, your credit card, cash, pull yourself out, walk, get to the place, get your bowl of ice cream. Now imagine that you all of a sudden got the idea to go to another city. You wouldn't just on the fly get on your flip-flop and walk to the place, right? No, you would need a little bit of planning and preparation to do that. You first of all ask yourself, do I have gas in the car? Do I have enough cash for that trip? Where I'm going, where am I going to stay? Am I going to stay with a friend? Am I going to stay with a family member? Am I going to lodge in a hotel? You can see now that the dynamic has increased because now it's another level. I remember seeing this funny skit a little while back of the difference between how people drive in our nation, Nigeria, and how people drive their cars in America as regards petrol. So the first part showed the cool American guy just driving around in the city, and then immediately he looks at his fuel gauge and sees that it's at half tank and says, oh, I need to get more gas for the car. Where's the next fuel station so that I can drive in and fill up my car? End of discussion. Now let's pan over to our Nigerian guy. By the time they show him, he's already drenched in sweat and all in panicky mood, because guess what has happened? He has just looked at his fuel gauge and the thing is red. It's not that it's even half or quarter, it is red. And the guy is in all panicky mode and he's like, Jesus, Jesus, help me. Just preserve this car so that I can get to the next fuel station and fuel up this car. Now, while that is fantastic, my man Moses is laughing. While prayer is great, prayer will not take the place of planning and preparation, especially when you want to take your performance to a whole new level. Now, just imagine that a plane needs to move from one country to another. You are not just talking about planning or preparation of days. You are talking about weeks of planning and preparation, preparing ahead of time. The pilot that is going to fly that plane already knows that he's the one that is going to fly that plane. He knows the cities he's going to stop from that country to the other country he wants to get to. They know where the plane is going to be refueled so that the plane can get to its final destination. So you are looking at a longer range of planning and preparation. Then now, not to talk of you want to go into space. SpaceX trying to launch a rocket on a mission to Mars. Trust me, you are not just talking of months of preparation, you are talking of years of preparation. So you can see how from every level to another level, you are talking about more detailed planning, longer range of preparation just to achieve that goal. Because guess what happens? You can't launch a rocket into space and then the astronaut is saying, Jesus, Jesus, we forgot to put fuel in the rocket, and he's now saying, can we come out? It's not possible. The planning has to be done if we are going to be those high performers that God has created us to be. So having said that, what are the aspects of our plan? This planning thing that we are talking about, how do we go about it? Anybody that will build a tower must first sit down and count the cost. And it's not easy, truly. That sitting down activity, it's not easy, but it's important. It just even changes the entire dynamic of your performance when you are able to sit down and plan a year, 2 years, 5 years. It's just so powerful if you are going to see your performance move to a whole new level. So what are the 5 components, elements, aspects of our plan for high performance? This is an acronym called SMART. We know of SMART goals. So but now I'm talking about a SMART plan, not about setting SMART goals. So S stands for strategy, M stands for milestones, A stands for actions, R stands for resources, and T stands for team. So there you have it: strategy, milestones, actions, resources, and team. Those are the 5 elements of your SMART plan. So number 1, what is your strategy? How do you want to go about achieving that goal, achieving that vision that you have for yourself? What strategy are you putting in place? For example, my own goal was I want to run and finish the 2020 Lagos City Marathon. Not that I want to participate. So since I knew I didn't just want to participate, I knew my strategy had to be solid. And so I told myself, okay, the strategy is that you are going to be training to make sure that before marathon D-Day, you are able to at least run a half marathon comfortably. You are able to run half marathon, definitely you'll be able to crush it on marathon D-Day. Number 2 is milestones. What are the milestones you have put in place for that goal that you want to achieve, on that vision? You have that 6-month vision, you have that 9-month vision, you have that 1 year, 2-year goal. What are the milestones? Still using my marathon story as an example, I had my own milestones in place. Start from here and then measure yourself over the next 30 days and see how good you have become. So every day, at least 5 days every week, I remember I was going on the road running, and my plan was that at the end of 30 days, I will get my wife and my cousin, and then we'll go on the road. They will drive in the car beside me at the end of the 30-day period and record my run. Those were the milestones that I put in place. And in the process of those milestones, make sure that you celebrate your milestones. So that, for me, that was my own celebration, that, oh, I was able to stay consistent in that 30-day period. And so they would drive with me and then we will record it, celebrate the moment, and that will give me the next pump for the next 30 days. Number 3 thing is actions. Any plan without any corresponding action, you are not going to see that goal achieved. So what action are you going to take? You said you are going to run. Go out there and run. You don't run by studying about running, by knowing all the facts about running, by knowing all the quotes by all the celebrity runners. You run by going out on the road to run. And then number 4 is, what resources are you going to need? What are the kind of food that marathon runners eat? What kind of running gear do they use? I remember when I started training for the Lagos City Marathon, I didn't know that there were specific kind of running shoes that they use. I just thought, okay, is it not just sneakers? Any sneakers is fine. After the first, was it 30 days, I was using the wrong kind of shoe to run. It was this kind of very heavy sneakers with a hard sole. Almost all of my toenails had come off because the blood flow was not going through my leg, my foot properly. All my toenails just went black and all of them went off until I discovered, oh, they are light running shoes. There are resources that you need. And most time when we talk about resources, the first thing that comes to your mind is money. Money is just one of the resources. There are so many other things. People are also part of the resources, which is what we are coming to in team. What are the things that you need to achieve that goal you want to achieve? And then finally is team. What team do you have in place? Because many times, because we are so good and so prolific in what we do, many times we are always thinking about doing that thing alone. But if you are going to take your performance to a whole new level, this is the way you need to start thinking. And for me, this was a game changer in my personal life, my business, my finances, because I now started to think this way. Most times I'm always, you know what, I don't want to disturb anybody. I'm going to be able to do this thing better on my own. I'm very agile, I'm very focused, I'm very persistent, but there is only just so much you can do alone until you have a team. Look at it, all organizations, look at people who are crushing it, all the sports guys that are crushing it at those top levels, they have a team of people working with them to make sure that they achieve that high performance. So that's it. Key elements of planning. Remember, planning is so important. Have a long range plan, have a long-term plan in place. Remember the law of time perspective. Look way ahead. Start early. Start your early preparation. And don't forget, what strategies do you have in place? What are the milestones? What actions are you going to take? The resources, and then finally your team. And then you go out there and crush that goal and be the high performer that God has created you to be. Your greatness is very sure.